Right, it's finally time to start the next 2 issues of Build Your Own R2D2. Sorry about the delay. I've had to wait until I'm definitely wide awake enough to know what I'm doing, follow instructions, and speak proper. So this is why the delay. Another thing I've learned after watching my last effort is centralize, centralize, centralize. Everything has to be in the middle. So hopefully this will be nicer than the last one. So let's start with issue 5. Alright, in issue 5 you'll be starting on this piece. I mean, surely you recognise this from R2D2 in the films, yes? Well, no. This is in fact the top of R2D2's head. The reason you don't recognise this is because, of course, it is underneath the metal dome. It's that piece right on the top there. And as you can see, I will be building up the skeletal structure that will go underneath the metal to hopefully provide, I presume, a bit more rigidity to the whole thing. It looks like I'm building a car here, but this is all very technical for me. I'm sorry if this shadow in the corner there bothers you, but I'm going to have to work with that and find a different solution somehow. Or maybe I'll be there next month, who knows. This is the most comfortable position I can get to find to sit in, and also be hopefully close enough to the microphone, which is on the top of the camera. So that's the reason for that. So I hope it doesn't bother you too much, but let me know if it's too much to bear, and I'll see if I can work around it. What you will be getting in issue 5 is the main top part, the very first part of the, what could I call this? The shell, the ribbing, I don't know, but these bits will be going all around the dome. So this is the very first part of those. This is made of metal, which is very nice. This is made of plastic, hopefully a hard plastic. And I'm very happy to report that you'll be screwing these, not gluing them, as far as I can see. We've got a weird little circle bit that goes, I think, around that bit. Well, I'll find it out in a minute. A bag of little screws. Another bag of little screws. Another bag of even smaller screws. Another bag of even smaller still screws. And a bag of little tiny little nuts. Look at how tiny those are. So if I don't lose any, it'll be a disaster. And also a little bit of metal circle thing. So all I can say, what else could I call these bits? Because they're fragments, and I've yet to see how they all work, but we will find that out very shortly. Okay, number one thing we will be doing is putting this into the middle there, and then we'll be screwing this into place over it. Now, the best thing that I have to report is that these two, they appear to be exactly the same either side, so you don't have to worry about which way they go in. Thank God for that, because I would worry. So that's what we're going to be doing first, and then we're going to be screwing it rather into place either side. There, you can see it's so shiny. Sorry, it's probably blinding you. Hope you've got your 3D sunglasses on to watch this. They'll be screwing that little circle, if I can find it, into place. So let's do that. Okay, for those of you slightly confused like me, to hold this into place, you don't need the pack of bigger screws, you need a smaller pack of slightly less smaller screws. So that's what you need to hold that in place, which I'm just going to do now. Okay, look, I'm centralising again. I've screwed it into place, and I have to tell you, it's a very nice solid fit. Now, I know that some makers of this model show them screwing the screws into place. I'm thinking, when I was watching that, it was very boring. I mean, unless you've been in a coma or come out of a time machine and you were around before the Industrial Revolution, you're going to know what a screw being screwed into a screw hole looks like. So I'm not sure you really need to see that. So I hope you are with my way of thinking there. But this is the metal bit. I'm so technical. This is the metal bit screwed over the central hole with a little metal circle already inside there. That's being held in place now. Very nice. Nice quality part. I like this. It best be a nice quality part because it's a very important part. This is holding all the plastic ribbing around the outside that goes down in 3 layers, as you can see there. 1, 2, 3. Alright, the next part of the build is you'll be fitting this plastic part here into or onto the metal part by way of lining up. This is what they say is very important. I'm not sure why it's important, but they want you to find the arrows, the arrow in the plastic bit, which you can clearly see there, and the arrow in the metal part, which you can also see there. You have to line those up. Then you'll be screwing those. I'm not sure which screws I use yet, but I'm going to find it out in a minute. And also, for the first time, you will need these little dinky little tiny nuts here to put into there, those 2 plastic holes. So let's do this. Okay, that was quite exhausting. Right, what you have to do is, with the arrows lined up, you put your nuts in the holes there, steady. You put your nuts in the holes there, and then you turn it over with your fingertips. It's quite easy to do actually, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. You hold with your fingertips, you can actually do it with one hand as well, which I did. And you use the longer screws, which are in that bag there. Longer screws, and you, hold on, yes, you do them, that is the top, and that is the underneath. So you basically hold it like that, and then you screw the longer screws into the holes there, and you will then fix it into place. And as you can see, that's quite secure. So this is the very first part of the ribbing. It's quite exciting, I think, because that's the very top of his head. So if that goes out, slightly out, that's going to be quite a big head. And guess what? That's stage 1 complete. Or rather, not stage 1, part 5 complete. So let's have a look at part 6. Okay, one thing I will say is that I really wish DeAgostini had made or given us resealable bags for these, because I'm going to have a hard time keeping hold of all these screws. I can tell. I've just had some nuts fall out. It's not a common problem, I can assure you. I've had I was going to say I've had my nuts fall out. I've had my nuts fall out of the bag. It's getting worse by the minute, isn't it? I've had these fall out of the bag, these nuts, and it's got a struggle actually putting them back in, because you've ripped open a bag. I don't cut them open. Maybe I should do that. All the bags all screwed up, and I'm trying to fit them back in there again. That is awkward. So I think I'm going to have to use my handy Sky Hub tray and keep all the little nuts in. the packaging from the Sky Hub, there's my Sky Hub, has a little plastic tray, and I'm going to use that to keep all the little tiny screws in, so that they'll never go missing. So that's quite handy. So anyway, let's get on with issue 6. Alright dear people, issue 6 is quite a scary one. It's another piece of LED lighting. You have the bracket for it, another bracket for it, another part of the mounting bracket for it, and the little wire to test it with, and the LED itself. This is the back of R2D2's head, the little multicoloured LED bit that I always thought really looked really cool, but it's not often you find any shop models with that bit on, because they don't bother. And another thing I was very relieved to find was that this bit here had a little scratch on. You can see it there, there's like a little scratch or mark, but I'm very happy to find that that is actually just on the protective cover which they put on, a little cellophane piece. I'm not going to peel it off now obviously, but yeah, I was very relieved to find that, because it's in perfect condition, I have to say. So that's a big relief. So we'll be putting this together and testing it right now. Okay, the very first part is you are putting this silvery bit into this bigger black bit. You're supposed to line up this longer piece, and I believe it goes in that side, and then magically it slots into place. So let's see how that goes. Here's a small tip, people, for the daft people like me. You push it in from the top, not from the bottom. If you push it in from the bottom, I guarantee you minutes of frustration. So push it in gently from the top, and it will end up looking like this, which is just what the picture says it should look like. There we go. Matching perfectly. I like that. I'm happy. Okay, next you are fitting this into that, and I'm sad to say that they want you to take the film off of this, so it's time to be very, very careful with the screen edge of this to make sure you get no scratches on it at all from all the plastic and screws, etc, etc. Okay, just in case you wanted to see before it's gone forever, this bit can only go in on one way onto the mounting piece. That's your LED display obviously, and then you put this over the top of it, and that again obviously only goes one way because you can see the power supply there. You can only fit it on one way, so that's handy, and that will be what it looks like when I've screwed it together, which I'm now going to do. Okay, that's that done. The screws I did nice and gently, because this is plasticky stuff in between, and obviously plastic top and bottom, so you don't want to be too harsh screwing it in. I found that the screws went, they're the larger of the black screws from last issue, by the way. I found that they went in quite deep underneath the level of the plastic, so I wasn't quite sure when to stop, but I haven't done them too manically hard or anything, so there's one thing left to do, and that is to light this thing up. Okay, we're all connected up now. It's all very well them saying, oh yeah, just pull the pins out and then use it for this one from the last couple of issues, but that's easier said than done, because once those pins are in there, these are in there. But I'm scared of breaking them, because all you have to do is just pull on them and then you're stuffed. Anyway, now's the moment of truth to turn this lovely display on and see what happens. Oh, nothing happened. Do I smash everything up now? No, not yet, because I just have to press the power thing. Oh, look at that. That's so R2D2. I'm looking forward to seeing that in action. On the actual head, when I've finished. in just under 2 years' time. Should we see that in the dark? Yes, I think that's essential. Alright, back again. Moment of truth time again. I know you can't see anything, but that will soon change, hopefully. Ah, there we go. I can't tell you how cool that looks. You'd have to see it in real life. Very bright LEDs lighting up the inside of the casing there. So that being said, I will see you for issues 7 and 8, which I already have with me. So join me then, hopefully. And we'll have some more fun building the head.